Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the DEX, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the CEX, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shiz, the owner of this channel. We cover the entire Bitcoin, crypto, ecosystems. What is up, guys? An amazing show for you guys today. We're live in the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be great, guys, because I found a bunch of charts that pretty much are going to tell you how bullish that I am. I really feel like these charts are going to happen. We got the rainbow chart. We have the stock to flow. We have a couple other ones as well. I'm going to dig into them, guys. So right now, we do have Bitcoin falling. Bitcoin's around 106,900, right? Kind of sucks. Not a big deal, though. We had a strong weekly close yesterday above 108. That is going to be huge, guys. But you have to remember, today is the last day of June. Tomorrow is the first day of July. What does that mean? Q2 is over, guys. We're starting Q3. And I think we're all bullish for Q3 at this point, right? We're hoping to have a bullish June. Didn't really have it happen that way. But we are up like 18% for May. So, I mean, I guess you could say there was a start of something. But I do believe July is going to show huge upward percentage numbers. But we will see, right? I mean, again, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I think long run, we're all really bullish here, especially here at OnChain Revolution. But, you know, short term, weeks, minutes, hours, if you look at the second chart, I mean, you know, it's really hard to tell. But the DXY is dropping. And I want to keep bringing that to your attention because the DXY shows the dollar strength, right? That's basically what it is, the dollar strength index. And it is not looking good. It is dropping. So what happens in those, moments? Big institutions, people like Warren Buffett, people like Cathie Wood, they look to see what they can do with those dollars because they don't want to keep losing value. And Bitcoin is going to be a big option for them, in my opinion. But without further ado, let's bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
Man? Were you just waving at me? No, I'm just kidding. How you feel today, bro?
I feel pretty good. Look, Bitcoin, yes, it's pulling back this morning. I'm not sweating over that. I felt like it looked really strong over the weekend. And when I say really strong, I mean no huge movements to the downside. Typically, Fridays have not been friendly to Bitcoin. But this Friday wasn't too bad. And then it carried over to the weekend. Saturday was what kind of expected, just chop flowing back and forth. And then Sunday, got up to that 108,800, right? Now we're seeing some pullback. I think that's fine. It's probably a little expected before we ramp back up. But like you said, we're actually ending the week candle today as well. So the weekly looks, like it could, bounce back a little bit here.
The weekly's over. It ended last night at 8 p.m.
It's showing Monday, the June 3rd. Well, hold on a second. The 23rd. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyways, we'll see if we can
look, I'll
bounce back. We'll see if we can bounce back from this today, the start of this week. Yeah, that's weird because like when I showed that candle, I think it was the start of it. Sorry, like the big green candle was the start of the 23rd, and that's what messed me up a little bit. But anyways, regardless, I think that us starting off with a little bit of pullback isn't horrible, right? We, like I said, we got to 108.8 yesterday, so us pulling back a little bit is kind of normal. As long as we're not dumping like super aggressively, that's where I think I will start to worry a bit. So that's what I'm looking at. I feel good. I was able to touch grass this weekend, get away a little bit, went on a boat, played some golf, and I feel like really good energy is going to be here to start July.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm curious your opinion on DXY. I gave my opinion a lot on it. I remember back when it was up at like 111 and like we were getting kind of bullish, and I was telling you, man, I can't get bullish during this. I just can't. But right now, I'm feeling the exact opposite. I feel like I can't be bearish right now. I mean, this is the chart of DXY. I know we covered it last week, and going back 2021, you saw a bull run was down only for DXY. Then we go all the way back to 2017. That bull run, same thing. And we're getting a very similar look here. And if we do break below this 97 mark, which kind of seems to be going to happen, I mean, this chart looks bad.
Yeah, it does look bad, right? And we know whenever the DXY is aggressively down, typically it's the inverse happens on the Bitcoin side, right? And like you mentioned last week, it is something to keep your eye on to possibly ignite an aggressive pull up for us to kind of get going into this bull run. Because I feel like even though like timeline wise we're in a bull run to supposedly, but like it doesn't feel the same, you know what I mean? But I do think that time's gonna come. And a lot of times it gets kickstarted by the DXY kind of crashing there.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the main story today. Is big money moves in. Fed may flip the switch. Crypto bags ready as cash flows in. So the Senate vote passes the Trump 3.8 big beautiful bill. Trump says Bitcoin and crypto are much more important than any other industry. So this is the stuff from Trump. This is the stuff from the Senate right now. The Senate got the money printers on, right? Is that this bill is printing money?
Yeah, it's going to bring a lot of cash flow in. It's also going to stop the increase of taxes on average going up 68%, unless this bill goes through, because it auto switches over to that. It increased. It'll be the highest tax hike in history if we don't do something. And so, if you feel bearish now a little bit through the past, this year, imagine, taxes being increased by 68% on average, right? No one's going to want to spend money on speculative assets then. And so what this does is it relieves some pressure there. And then also it's just kind of a positive movement as well. Obviously there's going to have to be capital that flows into this bill. And we could get a little bit of easing from the Fed as well, right? That's something that people are counting on for possibly July even. Yeah. They still have 2 rate cuts for these next 4 meetings. So I don't know. It just looks like it's lined up for a strong finish to the second half of this year.
Yeah, 100%. Fed Chair Powell is set to speak tomorrow, July 1st. And people said this could be the turning point for him, right? He's under a lot of pressure. It's not just from President Trump anymore. It's from a lot of different congressmen and stuff like that. And they're all saying, stop being too late, Powell. Right? That was kind of what he's gotten. That's from my understanding. That's what he got a lot, is stop being too late. Stop being always trying to react, but try to get ahead of something. And two the voters already came out and said they're pro rate cut for July. So my big thing here is watching poly markets after tomorrow at like 10 a.m. and kind of seeing what happens. Right, if we get a huge buy-in for some July cuts. I mean, you got to remember we're 30 days away from that, right? We still get a CPI, we still get a PPI, we get all the data points that could actually help that decision as well. But I think a really turning point could be tomorrow.
Yeah, It really could. Everything seems to be pushing towards that. And the good thing too, to your point about these people working in Congress, it's coming from both sides of the aisle. It's not just like
Yeah.
conservatives only that are saying, "Hey, what's going on." At the end of the day, there's invested interest, I think, on both sides, right? That says, "Hey, let's get this economy going. Let's inject some energy into it." So that's always a good thing when you have both sides kind of on the same page, because that doesn't happen very often.
No, and the craziest part is like, we haven't started QE yet, and we haven't started cutting rates yet. And S&P hit an all-time high on Friday. The Dow Jones hit an all-time high on Friday. Bitcoin is really close to its all-time high. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's really wild. The DXY is already fallen. It's like, it's almost like we should be in QE and stuff, but we still have all those catalysts, and the markets are forward-looking, right? And the markets being forward-looking, these are all things that I think we're kind of baking in now, right? I think we're baking in all these things. Like we and that's the only people don't understand. Like once we get QE, it's already been baked in already. The price is already it's done. But we're gonna start baking that in now for when it does happen later this year and next year.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a shame because you're right. I saw all of those headlines about the S&P kind of being really aggressive to the upside, all these things, but you don't feel it as much in our space right now, like on crypto Twitter and stuff. But that's because there's a lot of people that are holding alts and things like that. That just trickled down. We're kind of waiting for that phase, right? But there always has to be a first step, and the first step is getting the major markets going first, right? So the S&P up, that's good. Bitcoin close to its all-time high, that's good. It will happen, but it will happen with time. And it's like we can't get past that. We hit that first step a lot. We can't get to that second and third step, which will kind of put us into risk on. But what is going to do that is going to be the Fed easing and this bill going through. So all the catalysts that help us get there, they seem to be kind of in action right now.
Yeah, 100%. And if Powell comes out and says, we're looking into maybe cutting in July, or very similar, maybe not those harsh words, but I mean, dude, tomorrow could be big. But let's jump into some charts here. So last cycle, the Bitcoin rainbow chart was one of the most followed charts. So I went back and I was like, what charts were people looking at in 2021 and stuff like that? And this is the one that kept popping up for me. I thought it was a stock to flow, but that was another one. But this is one that's actually pretty big. So this is the rainbow chart, right? This is something that they've been following for a long time. I found an amazing site for charts, by the way, if anyone wants to go to bitbo.io and then go to charts. But so this is the chart here. I mean, it kind of looks very similar to 2017 in the sense of, let's go back to, because every one of these lines is halvings, right? So from halving to halving is one cycle, halving to halving is one cycle. So let's go over here, this 2018. As you can see, like it kind of looks similar to what we're going through right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it might be a little further. Well, not necessarily, because you see that green
dip.
line there.
I saw that because of the dip, right?
Yeah, and that 2018 was like a lot more gradual, like up. I mean, they were just sharper turns, I feel like. So it's but the green line, dotted line kind of threw me off there to separate them. But we are kind of in that time frame, I guess you would say, to where it should start to get into that green and yellowish area. But it does give me encouragement, the fact that like we're still pretty kind of early, right? Like before that uptrend really starts to happen, and then that's more in the middle of the two the halving cycles, right? So we still got a little bit of time to get there, and that would be exciting to mimic what we've seen the past couple of cycles, especially that 2018 period.
So this line right here is 2026, right? Let's just say January and February, like I'm right. Potentially, it just hitting that red is 700K. So according to this chart, again, I could be potentially right about Bitcoin hitting 700K this cycle, but it might not happen until after this line. Normally, we hit the all-time high before the year after, right? Before the year. I mean, this one was pretty much dead on. For the year after. I mean, it basically topped. It looks like it topped December, January. Same thing with this one. The year after, same thing, right? But so let's just say we get to 2026, and we could potentially be in the red, which puts us at around 7.
Well, Well, no, the red actually it shows you what the amount would be, I think, right? If you
Okay.
hover on the red right there, so that would put
So
us right at
439.
yeah, 439. But what would the orange be in the middle in 2026? So the orange would be
228.
309.
Oh, the orange. Okay, yeah,
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 yeah.
303.
Yeah, which I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, 2026, you're talking about January, February. So to me, mentally, I'm still like, it's like, carried over to that Q1 from the Q4 range. So it's not too far in terms of, you wouldn't have to wait too much longer, right?
Yeah.
So I think 300K, and that's what a lot of people are shooting is in between that yellow and orange, really.
Yeah.
Whenever
You're
they
right.
put their forecast out, 250 to 300. But yeah,
even play.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the people that were at the Bitcoin conference, like Charles Hawkinson, he said 250. There's been a couple other people that have said in that range. The 700 would be like overperforming the red,
It
but
would, yeah.
but we have catalysts this cycle that could do that, right? I mean, institutions coming in, nation states hitting FOMO and stuff like that. So.
I mean, yeah, we would still be let's just say we go all the way to the next halving, right? People say super cycle. I mean, a super cycle, we could technically hit 700K by 2028. I mean, that's possibility. I mean, but
Imagine if
seen
that
before.
happened. That would be crazy because like you're going into the halving at 700,000 and you're like, what do we expect now at that point?
I mean, look at this. Let's go to 2036, right? $4.3 million.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. It's crazy to look at. All right, but I did have some other charts. So this is the stock to flow. This is basically gold. Is kind of what they're chasing. If Bitcoin kind of did exactly what gold did, and this is kind of pointing up here. About 374,000. So this is Plan B has a different type of chart, but this one would mean 2026 January could be at 300K, and then potentially next cycle we hit 3 million. So this is another chart that is very bullish. But as you can see, that we usually pop over it, right? Like we usually are above this line, so which means that we could potentially be closer to the 700K number.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, all the charts are pointing in the same direction, right? It's kind of like it's just different parts of that uptrend at different areas and time frames. But it's so the stock to flow I know was really popular. The rainbow chart that you just went over, people are comparing the M2 money supply as like the replacement for the rainbow. This cycle, everybody keeps bringing it up, like M2, 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 and so it's like when you got all three charts just basically saying, hey, look, if you just don't freak out and don't liquidate yourself completely, like because you get freaked out but by like a pullback here or there, this is what the zoomed out picture looks like. Then we all agree that on that, like, we know where our destination is going to lead us, what's going to lead us to our destination, or like what the price is going to be, at least like late Q4, early Q1 next year. In a ballpark, right? Obviously, no one's gonna be perfect, but
yeah, and I'm still waiting for a updated Colin chart. I keep tweeting at him like every day now. So right now we're obviously the last day of June, so we're right here. So and it's looking like we would be around right here. So we have came up since that dip there. So we're it should look like this right now. Like a line face from there to there. So we would be like right here. I mean, we still have ways to go to catch up to this, but we could potentially shoot up here. And I think everyone's kind of expecting that to kind of reach August. I mean, this starts saying September 180K. So,
yeah. And I think a lot of us are expecting that, 180K in September, you have a pretty straight shot at that point, the next couple of months after that to get to those targets of 250, 230 to 250. I think it's going to be an exciting time then. I think a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, the big, beautiful bill could go through this, all the rate cuts and all that stuff will be a little bit behind us. And then like we'll be in more of a risk on environment. And so it's going to feel a lot better to finish the year.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of people will tell you, hey, you show me, I'll show you, you show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. So there is news to kind of back up this price action right now. Michael Saylor Strategy buys another 4,980 Bitcoin, right? And then with the 4,980 Bitcoin, Strategy now holds 597,000 Bitcoin at an average cost of 70K. Insane, right? But that's not it. Metaplanet goes and buys another 1,000 Bitcoin worth 108 million, bringing its total holdings to 13,000. I mean, this is two companies together that hold over 500,000 Bitcoin. And then there's a rumor that as long as Bitcoin stays above 95K going into today, which it did, MSTR is going to be added to the S&P 500.
Oh, I thought they were already being planned. So this is one of the
Coinbase.
So this is one of the stipulations. Oh, Coinbase. That's right. That's right. I got those two mixed up. Okay.
Yeah,
This is a big
Coinbase
win for
tied in
them.
last month. Yeah.
Big win for them. So it behooves MicroStrategy to keep Bitcoin up and strong. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. I wonder if there's some powers that be that don't want them in the S&P 500.
Well, think about the power. BlackRock holds a good percentage of MSTR.
Yeah.
Right, for its clients. So, I mean, the powers that be are in Bitcoin right now.
They want him in.
Seeing that way, they want him in because what that's going to do is MSTR is going to go up, right? And MSTR, but anytime someone purchases, one of the S&P indexes, they're pumping MSTR because they're buying a little piece of it, right? So, I mean, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. But all this happening, MSTR getting listed on S&P 500, this is upward momentum for Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's going to pop off this news when it does happen.
Yeah, because I mean, you're getting a lot of support when you enter the S&P 500,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So just from a branding perspective, and MicroStrategy needs strength as much as possible, especially with the mechanics that he's using to be able to continually buy Bitcoin with Strategy's approach, and then obviously they have that new stock as well. But I don't know, man. Michael Saylor could be like the biggest winner of the decade, right? Depending on what happens in this outcome. Bitcoin keeps going up. He just keeps winning, because
100%.
like that's just how it works. So
yeah, and think of it this way too. Coinbase at an all-time high. We mentioned it last week. And the week prior, we talked about them getting in the S&P. So what happened? They get in the S&P, and then they hit an all-time high. Michael Saylor here, I mean, could be put in the S&P, and the stock could skyrocket, which allows him to what? To leverage more stock to buy more Bitcoin. I mean, he's shooting for 1 million here. I think there's no stopping him until he gets to 1 million. At 1 million, I don't even know if he's going to cool off at 1 million. But he might, right? I don't know. But he feels like one of those guys where it's like, I'm surprised he didn't just figure out a way to kind of get it over 600. Because, sitting at 597, he's the type of guy to be like, where can we get 2,700 more Bitcoin to kind of get over the 600,000 mark? But I mean, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. All right, we'll move along here. Bitcoin is looking to close Q2 at a 31% gain. I did mention it in the beginning here, but I'm curious your opinion here. All right, so this is Q1. We saw a negative, right? And this is Q2. We saw plus 31.4%. That's as of right now, as long as Bitcoin doesn't crash. Honestly, we're probably closer to about 30% now. But I'm curious your opinion on this. Is this bullish to you?
yeah, of course, it's a good rebound. Obviously, being down 11, almost 12% Q1 kind of was sets it up to be able to have a little bit bigger gain. But I mean, it was aggressive starting in April, right? Like April is whenever things started turning around. Say maybe after the first week of April, and we had that aggressive leg up through May. Really, so that's what kind of makes me a little bit hesitant to just say, okay, we're about to explode. But the M2 supply is what keeps me there. I'm still stuck on it because Bitcoin did rally very hard back. It took a day or so after that horrible news 2 Saturdays ago, right? That crashed it, and that gave me hope back into the M2. So we'll see if it plays into Q3. But here's the thing: let's say Q3 obviously starting tomorrow, right? And we have a great start. That doesn't mean that the second half of Q3 isn't gonna put it back. If you're thriving in the first month, you could even get into the red to finish the quarter if the August and September maybe not play out as well. But also I'd be happy with a plus 11% or something like that for Q3 since Q2 was already a pretty big gain. I think Q4 is obviously the one to hope that we hit the grand slam in Q4, because at that point he's like, what's after that if we don't do well in Q4, you know?
Well, a lot of people are kind of comparing the 2025 to 2020, saying, hey, like we've been delayed because of everything that happened under the last administration. We're kind of right now we're a year behind where we should be. So let's just say like we are repeating 2020. I mean, look at this: -11, -10, +42, +31. I mean, if technically, let's just say you're right, and we do get like a +15 or +11 right there. Look at Q4, right? 168. I mean, and then look at Q1 of next year, 103.
Yeah.
And then this will kind of put it right into my thing here of, you know, being sell in May and go away next year, being that's the top, right? This could all potentially happen. We could actually, Raul Paul could be right, and we could technically be in 2020 this year.
Yeah. Well, and then for the people who are saying, nah, we're more like 2017. Well, let's take a look at 2017. 2017 looks pretty darn good. I mean, like that gain for Q2 was crazy. And then you pulled up 80% on top of that in Q3, which was, you know, the second weakest of that year. And then you rallied amazingly in Q4 there. So shoot, give me a mixture of both. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we will see. Oh, we will see. So yeah, it's really awesome. And then I have this chart here by this guy. He basically says you waited 4 years for the next 4 months, right? So this is this chart, Bitcoin power curve, and he's kind of expecting us to kind of really take a push up to about 200K in April. But I do love the fact that he said you've waited 4 years for the next 4 months. What's your opinion on this? As you can see, the red is Bitcoin's price. The black there is the 4 year cycle mean, basically medium. So what do you think? You think that we could follow this up? But this would be 200K would be the top.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what the top would be this cycle. I think that's the hardest thing to call probably this cycle versus the previous ones, because you have just so many different participants, you know, from a large money capital level, but also that also includes people, you know, entities that are good at hiding, you know, stuff in terms of like, you know, they do this on the TradFi side, and they're good at manipulation and stuff like that. So that's what the in terms of the top, I'll kind of leave that to the pundits to guess that. But one thing that, you know, he's absolutely right on, and we don't think about this enough, is that yeah, you do wait 4 years for about 4 months, but we don't think about it like that, because you've gone through that entire wait period, and you're like, this is bull run year, so you want like all quarters to hit like amazing, and it sucks because your expectation doesn't match up with reality. But if you think about every other cycle, pretty much 2020 and 2021 was a little bit of an anomaly because of COVID. There was also manipulation, right? There was two versions of that. You got one in the spring that topped out, and then you got one in the fall that topped out. But typically, if you look at 2017, yes, it was green all summer, but you always get that 100 to 200% gain in Q4, right? And so I think he's spot on with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, last time we got 47%. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right, let's kind of get in some news here. The biggest news of, you know, that I'm looking at is the dog. So dog actually is the #1 coin. Well, hold on. Let me actually get that real quick. Where is it? All right. I freaking moved it up and now I can't find it. Anyway, dog is the trading. Here it is. Bitcoin Memecoin dog is the 15th most traded asset on Kraken over the past 24 hours. Out of the 429 listed assets, dog is number 15. Do you think this momentum holds up, or do you think this is just because it got listed and everyone's getting their bag?
So initially, I did expect this to go somewhat like a typical centralized exchange listing for a big, you know, token or whatever, meaning that like the centralized exchange is hyping it up, lists it, and then starts to go about their business per normal, right? What they usually do. That's not the case with Kraken. I got to hand it to Kraken, man. They are committed to the dog army and the dog community. And so, and you're seeing it being the appreciation kind of shown back to Kraken, because I'm seeing a lot of these large accounts saying, hey, delete your Coinbase account, download the Kraken account. I'm just like, wow, this is kind of playing out perfect for Kraken. But again, Kraken could have just been like, okay, what's next for us to focus on? No, they're still like integrating dog into their like their 24/7 live stream that they have with the charts, the animation of the dog and Kraken next to each other. They're constantly just engaging with the dog community, and that's why I think that dog's different. I think dog's different because we haven't seen anything like this really. So the last thing, honestly, and I know this is probably premature, but the last meme coin that was consistently over a long period of time that was constantly like in marketing with centralized exchanges was Doge. I feel like, because they were all playing off of Doge and Doge, like Elon Musk and all these things. Dog has an opportunity here, and I love it. 15th. I'm not shocked there. I actually expect it to be a little higher, and I think it might get there, as they are continually pushing out the messaging here.
So let's just say next month, is Dog still in the top 15?
Ooh, next month, if things are bullish, it might be in the top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
I love that answer. Let's go. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking Dog can be in the top 10, potentially forever now. On Kraken until places like OKX and Binance and Coinbase and Robinhood list it. I think being one of the few places that you can buy it, I can't imagine that it's not potentially in the top 10 for people opening Kraken accounts to buy it. So we'll see.
Yep.
Next thing here is you being in Texas, you can now go to your local convenience store and buy a Slurpee with gold. So Texas Governor Abbott signs a legislation making gold and silver legal tender for daily transactions. Are you ready to buy Slurpees with gold?
I mean, what is this? Like, am I gonna go to like my local jeweler in the Koreatown and ask him to melt it down and into coins? I mean, I'm just gonna just straight up give like a very lightly plated cheap watch for like a hamburger combo. I mean, it's just weird. Like, obviously, there's some digital approach to this, right? But very weird that they just like went to gold first instead of digital assets. But I expect digital assets after this, though, because this is going to be digitized. Obviously, you're not going to take gold bars up to like a store, Home Depot or whatever.
I could see you potentially buying it with a house, like going into the real estate meeting, like with a couple of bars of gold. This is my down payment. I mean, if you're legally can, but they're not forcing anyone to accept it. That's the difference, right?
Well, are they not? Oh, but it's legal tender though.
Yeah, but they're not forcing you. Like, they're not saying, hey, like in El Salvador at one point they made it legal tender, but everyone's like, no one takes it. But then they actually put it mandatory for a lot of I think it's like state-owned places to take it.
Yeah, it's just I feel when I heard this first, I was just thinking of like horse and buggy and like Wells Fargo back in the day. They used to be like the bank transport. And so it's like, you're buying a house and you like open up all the like this huge handkerchief with like gold bars in there. But I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it's digitized. Like I said, we're gonna see what this is about and if it's like successful or not. But I do expect Bitcoin and stable coins to make its way because this is, I think, the first little step here.
Yeah, 100%. And I can see like I don't know if you have them there, but here on like every 3 or 4 blocks we have a cash for gold. Or people can take their gold and they give you cash for them as well. And I'm just expecting those places to kind of pop off a little bit more, maybe in Texas. Then I can't imagine like if I was a store owner, I'm not going to take the gold because I don't know if I'm not trained. My eyes not trained as these cash for gold guys are, right? Because they take it under a microscope. They're looking for certain things. It's like I don't want my $14 an hour person taking bad gold, right? That's just gold plated, right? So
yeah.
All right. Treasury Secretary Bessent says crypto stablecoin legislation could be finalized by mid-July. So we are hearing a lot of different things about this mid-July thing. We're hearing potential ETF approval, right? Or a potential the stablecoin. We do know the Genius Act's pretty much done, right? We're waiting for just one more signature, and then it goes to the president's desk, and then we know that'll be signed. So potentially that's going to be mid-July as well. And then like I just spoke with ETFs. ETFs are, we did have, Grayscale get acknowledged. The SEC acknowledges an amendment to convert Grayscale's digital large cap fund into an ETF. So, and we do know that the SEC doesn't want to pick a winner So they're actually preparing 15 to 20 different ETFs to potentially get all approved at once. But just remember, let's just say they do all get approved on July 15th. They might not start trading until October, right? But again, we don't need to start trading. We just need that sense of urgency to get these assets before they start trading. And I think we can get both there. But I mean, really bullish on the Stablecoin Act being basically in by mid-July.
Yeah, that is really bullish. So that they've already got the Genius Act, and then you get the stablecoin legislation, and now you have two different laws or bills that are going to regulate or be like the standard for two different approaches to stablecoins. Obviously, like the Stablecoin Act or legislation is going to be more of like the larger entities, and there's going to be large entities in the Genius Act as well. But it's just a different approach, what you can do, flexibility, all that stuff. But going back to your ETF part, man, that's going to be huge. Another catalyst that kind of gets put in that bucket, you know, that says, okay, risk on. We got all this stuff coming in, a lot of capital flowing in as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, them acknowledging that Grayscale put this in. I don't know what that exactly means, but I remember when Bitcoin was being acknowledged, it was only like a few months later before they were an ETF, right? And then Ethereum got acknowledged, and I think like a few weeks later, Ethereum one got pushed in very weirdly. Now I look back at it, right? It was just like, we're making ETF go. And it was everyone just didn't have time to react. But it does seem like they're going to give you time to react on this one. Yeah. All right. It does feel like people are coming on chain for this next one. DEX-to-CEX spot volume ratio hits 27% of all users favor early listings and decentralized trading. So look at this chart here, and it's just been up only, especially recently. So this is the DEX-to-CEX spot volume. So we're up almost 27% in June alone of people buying on CEX. I'm on DEX for CEX. I mean, this is a big deal.
It is a big deal. We've heard a lot about this the past, I would say, 6 months, maybe about 12 months, right? Hyperliquid was, I feel like, the first one that started to really catch a lot of people's attention and say, hey, you don't have to go to a centralized exchange to have a centralized exchange trading experience, especially on the leverage side, but they also offer spot. And then these centralized exchanges are starting to kind of help this volume, as well, right? So are you saying it's going up from DEX-to-CEX? Sorry, I was confused on that part.
30%. So CEX to DEX, imagine like Bitcoin USDT, right? So it's up 30% against the CEXs. So the CEXs are technically down 30% while this is up 30%.
Okay. So I was right. I just read weird, but So, but again, are they contributing to that now? The fact that they've opened this up to kind of, they've opened this up to their business model, realizing that, hey, we're not going to let them take the volume. We'll participate in a hybrid approach, and that's what seems to be happening, right? So, in the future, this might not, this statistic might be a little bit obsolete, because if they're going to be doing hybrid approach, they're getting the volume anyways for them, whether it's on their chain or whatever. But it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Like it is skewed that way because Binance Alpha is probably 50% of the PancakeSwap value, right? If not more. So you are right in that aspect. I didn't think about that. Like it is the CEX is actually helping you buy. But so listing fees has been like, one of their biggest ways of making money, right? Obviously not Coinbase, not Kraken, Robinhood, but some of these Asian exchanges like MEXC, Gate.io, and so on, their biggest way of making money is getting paid to list tokens. And potentially we might not see that no more if the CEXs just buy off DEXs. So. All right. We'll move along here. El Salvador continues daily BTC buys, adding 7 Bitcoin last week. So this is something that we've been covering for a while, but it is pretty cool to kind of watch them just build. Look at this. They're just building steps, bro. They're just slow and steady. Like in a way, this is the ultimate strategy. Let's just say you started in 2013 or 2014 and you just bought 1 Bitcoin every day. Every day you just bought 1 Bitcoin. Back then you was probably like, $100 to $300. And, obviously you probably had to stop doing that when it got to like 3,000-4,000. But I mean, El Salvador doesn't matter what the price is. They buy 1 Bitcoin every single day.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, this is crazy to see over time. You know what this is going to play out. So, is this just for El Salvador? Sorry, yeah, it says
Yeah,
dot Salvador right there. So, will they ever change their approach to where they acquire more? You think
they're
it
not
like
allowed.
well because of the agreement, the loan agreement?
Yeah. So they're not allowed to use any of that money, but they are earning and then just using that money to buy Bitcoin.
That's why they're doing the one of the day. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is just money that the country is earning in taxes and stuff like that. They're allowed to use that money, but they're not allowed to use the loan money technically. They actually have to like it's kind of like the show what they're using that money
And
for.
they're limited. Are they limited to how much they can purchase in general?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Good question. I'm not really sure.
Because it's just weird to me that they're such a big advocate for it. But then I think Bhutan, I think whenever we went over the statistics last week,
Yeah.
Bhutan is the third largest country that holds the most, right?
They were until this morning. They sold. They sent some Bitcoin to Binance and they sold. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
I should have grabbed that. Now I look back at it before the story today, but I didn't. But yeah, I saw it this morning. They actually sent some Bitcoin. So I don't. They could still be number 3. I'll look into it. I'll have it for tomorrow. It was such late news. It happened like right before the show started.
Gotcha.
But let's jump into the crypto fear and greed here. So last Monday we were at a 37. Yesterday we were at a 50. We're a little higher than yesterday. Is my hit for you today.
53.
Pretty much there. We are at 52. So yeah, how do you feel about this? I feel a little bit more bullish than neutral. I feel like tomorrow is going to be, even with the price action of Bitcoin, kind of 107, back to 107. That's good.
Yeah, it's bouncing back.
You know, even with the price action, I do feel like we should be like 58, 59 tomorrow. Do you feel that way?
Possibly. It does look like we're coming out of the slump. That's for sure. And if we aggressively push up, yeah, definitely we could, be around 58 to 60. But we have to have a pretty aggressive pull up, I think, for the second half of today, maybe even get to like 1085 or something, 108, close to 109 maybe. But everything is starting to kind of look aggressive, right? From a like a zoomed out perspective, if you look at the other financial markets and Bitcoin, so I feel like there's just like this cohesion they're all on the same page of like, hey, look, I think all the financial markets in the US are about to rise up.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action. I'm getting a little better.
VEO3, baby.
I'm messing around with it, guys. Like I said last week, you guys can create a better one. I'll send you 3 fluid passes, but I only get 3 a day, so that's like the best one I had for the weekend. So it's getting there. It's getting there. I got some tweaks to do to the prompt, but let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're actually going to be going live very, very soon. The first chain they're going to be going live on is Botanix. Botanix is rumored to be going live this week. We'll find out more information for you guys. We will actually have them on the show next week. Really looking forward to that, talking with one of the head people over there. So that should be a really good interview. Really looking to talking to them and kind of learning what they're building. But we do know Artura.finance is building there. So by using Artura.finance, we do know, where rumor is that they're going to incentivize the chain somehow, and using Artura.finance on Botanix will actually get you that incentivized whatever on top of the ARA token, right? Really excited to get the airdrop of the ARA token because, I mean, why not, right? I'm going to be using low leverage, low money, and air farming that one. So, and we do know they're going to be launching on Hemi as well. Hemi is actually live. I didn't really realize that, but Hemi is live right now. You can actually play on Hemi right now, and we do know that you can earn points on Hemi. And by earning points on Hemi, they already basically came out and said they're going to have an airdrop. They are backed by Binance. We do know that Binance is going to list them. So that is very exciting because you're going to be earning the ARA token and potentially the Hemi token as well, all by just putting low leverage, low money on Artura. So guys, you make sure you're using Artura on multiple chains and getting as much as that as possible. We are the only show, like most of our partners, guys, are airdrops. I mean, Artura, Emblem, Sats Terminal, Ordinal Hive, Jungle. A lot of our partners are going to be, they don't have a token yet. So that's a big reason why we're partnered with them, because we're going to get our community the biggest airdrop. So take advantage of this opportunity, especially with Artura Finance.
Yeah, exciting things coming from that team. Imagine 3-4 months down the line, whenever everything is super, ready to get, really pumped up, and you miss dog, you might be able to trade it directly there with some responsible leverage. But all right, guys, before we get into the Bitcoin price action, help us out here on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, let's share the space. Come on now, let's help us out here. Let's get as many people as possible into the stream. Same thing with the abstract side as well. We know that you guys help us out, and we're very thankful for that. Let's jump into some price action here. All right. So it wasn't looking too great earlier, but it looks like since we started the show, it has bounced back. So on the hour chart, we're looking like the sell pressure is starting to exhaust. We do want to see this blue line kind of curve up a little bit more to give us a little bit more confidence that we want to come out of the sell pressure. But as you can see, the Bollinger Bands did open up a bit with this downtrend. But like I said, I'm not too shocked about the downtrend, by the way. You have to remember, we got to 108.8 yesterday. I did actually expect it to kind of reverse, because Saturday we hung around 107.3 to 107.100, and it didn't go below that, and it didn't really go higher than that Saturday. But heading into the wee hours of the Sunday morning, we started to see that climb up, and so that was a really strong way to end the week. But let's take a look at the second half of today. I'm feeling pretty good. I think we could come out of this, guys. We do want to see, like I said, this curl up a little bit more. And again, this is high level kind of price action, so don't be upset if Bitcoin doesn't go the way I think it's going to go. But this is what I'm using, these high level indicators to help me out, kind of just give me a direction, right? And for possibly second half, it looks like we might rebound continually, right? For the next 4 to 6 to 8 hours, possibly. But this is looking good that we're, coming back out of this. Let's take a look here at the local support and resistance for the 1 hour chart going back to 6 a.m. today. I think that's probably fair. You can see right here where we are, 107.6. It's starting to pump right now as we're speaking, actually. So we have hit this level of resistance right here. The resistance is a bit stronger than the support. But again, just like any other level, if there are big enough bids, we can push through that. And then once we get up here, if we did get through it, it's more balanced out, right? But if we have strong bids pushing up here, I imagine that we're going to continue to push up here. And then we have some pretty decent support levels here at the 107,700. And it looks like it just did exactly what I said. Some big buy bids came in and it's pushing us up, right? This is some resistance here. We'll see if we can continually go up here. I like what I'm seeing so far. All right, so that is the hour chart, guys. Let's get into the 4 hour chart. See if we can get some confirmation on the 4 hour. The 4 hour doesn't look great, I'll tell you that straight up, but we could kind of turn things around. You can see right here, the MACD looks like it's still in this sell pressure. It looked like we wanted to come up out of it on a Sunday around 7 p.m. Central. But as you can see, we've been down here for a while, right? So to me, if things do turn around here, we could kind of come out of this. If the 1 hour chart is gonna perform the way I believe it could for the next 4 to 6 hours, we could probably start to exhaust this on the 4 hour chart. If that happens, that would be great. We turn this around here on the stochastics. But we've been in sell pressure for a while, like I mentioned, right, since Thursday. So that's a pretty extended amount of time, I would say. So maybe we're due to kind of come out of this slump on the 4 hour chart, but we do need some price action, positive price action from the shorter time frame. All right, so let's take a look at the weekly. The daily. We're gonna go to the daily. So the daily is something I've been harping on in terms of this fact that this is the first time for us to get 4 positive candles in a row in the MACD. I know it is an indicator. It's not actual candles because we've had a couple consecutive candles on the actual chart side. But I do like to see this on the MACD for the daily because it does give us a little bit of forecasting on possibly where Bitcoin wants to go. I don't use the daily chart nearly enough, but I'm starting to use it more and more. Now, it did show that we exhausted a little bit. That's probably from early this morning. Whenever we did kind of pull back here a bit. We'll see if we can continue though bullish momentum. I think the daily chart looks good. You know, we haven't been up here in the overbought territory for too long. I feel good on the daily chart. We'll see if this continues. All right, now let's head over to the weekly. The weekly, finally, we got a good green candle. We had 2 red candles in a row. The first one was not too strong, but the second one was pretty strong. But then before that, you know, we had a red candle. You know, we had one little green one in between that. So it's been about what, 3 out of 5 red. But now this one was a really good bounce back to end the week yesterday at that 108,344 level. Now we're starting the week a little bit red, but that's okay. You know, we just started the week. It's the first day of the week. We'll see how we continue. I think we're looking pretty decent still. Like if you look at the setup, it's okay. It looks like we kind of going a little sideways here, but if you want to look at a pattern, you got a little bit of a bull flag here, right? And then are we going to kind of start this leg up? That could be a possibility, right? So I think we look good here. We kind of bounced back from these red candles here, and we'll see if we continue this leg up on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. All right, going to the others, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10. Wow, what a great candle on the 1 hour for the others. But let's go to the weekly. Pull this up here, kind of give us a zoomed out look. Let me restart that, pull this out some, perfect, and then open that. There we go. Okay, yeah, it is a little bit redder, you know, bigger than the Bitcoin weekly red candle to start the week, but that's like I always mention. The others is going to be a little bit more intense on the pullback versus the pull up, because it does tell Bitcoin and there's a little bit of a delayed reaction. But it looks like we're exhausting the sell pressure for the weekly for the others. So I think we're in a good spot. Bitcoin gets back to, you know, challenging its previous all-time high. I think the others, you know, gets obviously tails it, and we get back to where we want to be, you know, challenging this 50-day EMA, hopefully getting, you know, back up on top of it. We'll see if that can happen. Looking at the crypto bubbles looks pretty decent. Let's go to the top 100 alts here. And we're seeing a bit more green than red. I would say it's probably an 85-15 split there. You see some of these notables here. You got Jupiter up 5.9%. Arrow is up 8.2%. Probably, you know, still in the news, being a service provider for Coinbase, as they're going to be the main AMM for doing their on-chain stuff. Same thing for trying to be the servicer for the Ink chain for what is it, Kraken as well. So look, these guys are in the news constantly recently, so that's why I think they're probably a bullish play. You know, definitely looking strong here. Pith rebounded up 8.6%. Pith is an Oracle. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a chain link competitor there. You got Fartcoin up 0.9%. It's always good when it's green, but it's not really super strong green here. Hype is up 3.5%. That is looking good. You got some of these other meme coins. Pepe pulling back up 3.1%. Pangu pulling up 2.4%. Flocky pulling up 2.6%. I can't believe this is still in the top 100. It's like I think the 5th biggest meme, I think, maybe on ETH, but there was like a tax into this token. I hated that.
Yeah, I think it's manipulated that high. Honestly, I think it's just a couple large people in that, but I don't know. But apparently too that it's they got the name from Elon's dog. Elon's dog was a flow key, and then that's when we started that. But apparently, if you go to London, you see this on billboards and stuff in London.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So they have somewhat of a strong community then. But SPX is up 3.7%. Solana up 5.1%. ICP up 2%. Immutable X up 5.4%. And then WIF up 4.7%. Let's take a look at the top 100 through 200. All right, you got Mog up 11.8%. That's a pretty big rebound there. Peanut up 7.7%.
What's useless?
What else we got?
Any
Turbo
idea?
up. Oh, I'm not sure. I feel like in the top like 100 to 200, there's always a random coin that has a huge jump up, right? Useless. That's pretty funny. Eigenlayer up 5.2%. Barachain up 4.6%. Pulse Chain. I was actually shocked to see. I think it was Colin said
Yeah,
that he is going to be buying up Pulse and Dog, and I was like,
no, it
wow.
wasn't Pulse. It was Pulse
Hex?
X. Pulse X is the Uniswap V3 whatever it is, but it's Pulse X for some reason.
Gotcha.
I thought he would buy. I thought you were right, like you'd be right. I think he'd buy Pulse before Pulse X, but apparently he's really bullish on Pulse X.
It's the main AMM on Pulse Chain.
Yeah, it's a Uniswap V3. It's right there. It's right in the middle there. It's right there.
Right here. Yep. And then I'm always on the hunt for our don't tell me Dog dropped out of the top 200.
No way. If anything, it had to get closer. Unless it's on page 1 now.
Think so?
Type in at top. Type in Dog. It might just be hidden here.
128. So it's in here.
128. Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah. I gotta be able to find this one, man. It's like treasure hunt every week. Oh, there it is. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Why is it so small?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like it had to. So it's 0.1% down. Yeah. But gosh, they made it so small over here. Anyways, that is the Bitcoin and crypto price action, guys. Hopefully that helped you out. It's always a fun time doing the crypto bubbles. That's for sure.
Yep. Let's get in the roll call. Does our guest have the thing?
Yeah, let me get it to him.
All right, cool. So let's jump into the roll call here. First is first on this channel. We like to gotta go over that first comment of the day, and I'll actually show my screen here. All right, so Lackey Luke, congratulations, man. 31st win of the year. You were that first comment today. Matt's calls you Lackey Body. He wants you to change your name to Lackey Body, but your name's Lackey Lukey, and you are 31st win of the year. Congratulations to you, my friend. You won. Was it 3 days last week, and then you are on top of it again today. Congratulations to you, my friend. Let's get into the rest of the roll call here. ASAP Benji is here. Tim Baker, AODR himself. Shout out to you, my friend. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Choda says, "Grats, Lackey." Hydro Sapien is here. He said, "It's Dog on Bitcoin. Let's go." He also says, "GM OnChain Revelation is king." Yes, sir. Hydro Sapien says, "LFG." He goes, "I got to figure out how to get all the Bitcoin dust consolidated or merged into one transaction. Maybe that's something we could go over on the show. We could do something like that. We could do like a pre-record. Yeah. I guess Uniswap would be that place, right?
So Uniswap offers
Unisat.
Yeah, Unisat offers. They offer that. Trax wallet offers it. Track probably is the most simple approach because you can actually check mark whatever you want, you know, and you can keep certain inscriptions. And I think Unisat might have that option, but there's definitely options. Hydro Sapien. Maybe Susie and I will put together like a little tutorial video or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You can always reach out to me at Shizzy Sats. Maybe I can jump on a call with you and walk you through how to do it. It's pretty simple. Glasshopper is here. Big money, no whammies. Yes, big money, no whammies. Lucky Lukey again. Webdro. He tells Webdro to lock in. Oh wow, that's awesome. That's pretty funny. No is here. Good morning to you all. Abstract is here. Shout out to Abject GM. Bitcoin's truth is here. Is a Bitcoin all-time high in July. I guess we could say all-time high in July, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I've been saying for the past 2 months. So.
Spin Drip said, "What's up, guys? Vader time is here." Satoshi Nakamoto. Stan says, "Roll call." Shout out to Stan. GM Superfan, my guy, Superfan, what's up, buddy? Yeah, man. Thank you so much for being here. Chief Axel is here. Nighthawk UXL says, GM, my brothers from another mother. Have a Stella show. Godspeed. Thank you, sir. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Nighthawk, for being here every single day, man. Hillbilly is here. My guy, GM out in the Pennsylvania wilds, bro. You gotta let me know where you're at, bro. I would love to know because I'm in PA. Obviously, I'm in Philly. I would love to know if I think you're probably closer to like, I'll say like north Pennsylvania. Paulie says this cycle is similar to the 2017 bull run. Still have some room to run, but the bear market is around the corner. See, I disagree. I think the bear market is about a year away. I don't think we get a bear market. It would be hard to have a bear market this time.
Yeah, I think that perspective is traditional 4-year cycle, though, right? Is what he kind of is saying. Is like bear market's right around the corner after you get that bullish 4-month period or whatever. But it's not typical. I'll tell you that this cycle is not typical.
Nope. Paulie says this. Okay, I read that one already. Coach Katz here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Coach Katz, man. Love that guy. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Malam Yuri is here. 160K this year and 400K next year. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much that could definitely happen. Mike Elf says I think about it exactly like that. I'm waiting for Bitcoin down to start. Yes, that is something I guess we should be looking at as well more often. I'm looking at the DXY just below 97, bro.
Is it bleeding further right now, like actively?
Oh my god, yeah. I'm actually show the chart. Look at it. Look at that.
What time frame is that?
This is weekly? The weekly, bro.
Go to the hourly. I was curious, like how much it's bleeding.
Look bad.
All right, there you
go. Ooh. I mean, dude. That's bad.
Is it bad that we're cheering on the weakness of the dollar? It's not.
Well, the dollar's going to zero, right? I mean, it has to. It has to go down forever. It has to go down forever. I mean, whether it's 200 years, 300 years, it has to go to zero because it's just going to inflate it that way, right? It's going to cost you thousands of dollars for a gallon of milk in 100 years, the way it's going, right? So. Coach Cat says Kraken loves dog. Yes, I think dog loves Kraken as well. Myself said dog is the Dogecoin. I love.
Let's go.
Cash says top 10. He thinks it's a top 10 on Kraken for sure. Stan says have all of the gold bars at Fort Knox been verified with an updated inventory? No.
I don't want them to go in there right now. Let's wait till after. Let's wait till after we have our bullish
Bitcoin,
moment,
dude. No, that could pump Bitcoin to bazillions, bro.
But it also could make the macro environment so bearish.
Would it though? Gold would just crash.
Gold would crash. Yeah, Peter Schiff would be very. What gold would? No, it's not
gold. Go up?
But that's not gold's fault though. The fact that they're not being truthful about it.
Yeah.
So it's more of the U.S. economy, which runs everything right now.
People would dump gold for Bitcoin. Because they're the same people that would do it, bro. Same people. Stan says, is there a catalyst the channel's expecting for an crypto uptick? So we go over the M2 Money's play. So they're printing more dollars. And as you can see, the DXY is dropping for that exact reason, right? They're printing more dollars, which means the Bitcoin has to go up. Like milk has to go up. Bread has to go up because the dollar is getting weaker. And that's when you go to the grocery store and people say, oh, wow, the price went up on this. No, you have to think the dollar went down on this. And the dollar's going down against Bitcoin right now.
Yeah. And I think if you're looking for a single catalyst, it's pretty straightforward. And I think we look forward every 4 years as going into QE and interest rates coming down, because that's whenever they borrow a lot of money to put into the economy.
Yep. Cash Cats. Stan says, is there a Botonics or Spider Chain token available? If so, no. So they're saying they're not going to have a token, but they're going to incentivize the chain in other ways. And we think we have it narrowed down to which one it is. So once we figure it out, we'll let you guys know. Hillbilly is here. He said, what a nice green candle. That thing was beautiful. Mr. Unfiltered, man. It's been a while, sir. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you. He said, is OpCat going to start trading again? I don't know what OpCat.
I guess that's the cat token.
Oh, the cat 20. It's not trading? No, it's trading.
I don't know.
I can't imagine it's not trading. Why wouldn't it be trading?
I don't know.
I haven't used Fractal.
Yeah, DotSwap also came out with that.
It's trading right now.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, Mr. Unfiltered. If you're talking about Cat 20, Shizzy's saying it's trading right now. If you're not, just give us some clarification on what exactly you're talking about.
The chart wouldn't be moving if it wasn't. So, yeah, I don't know. Myself says PulseX buy and burn feature makes it deflationary. Yes, I heard about that. I got to look more into PulseX. Hillbilly says right now I'm Northern Poconos. Oh, yeah, dude. I vacation in the Poconos. I was at, what is it, the Great Wolf Lodge or whatever, like a year ago. So, yeah, shout out to you, my friend. But, yeah, Poconos, dude. That's some mountains for us. But, yeah, shout out to you, my friend. All right. That is your roll call for today. Appreciate every single one of you guys every single day. It means so much to us for you guys to be a part of this. If you do not make roll call, please make roll call. I'd love to shout you out. I'd love to thank you for being here. And he said, I'll look back into it. Thanks. Yeah, just go to dotswap.app that'll be the place. Are we going to be joined by our guy?
Yeah. So I followed up and so I'm waiting to see, but we can jump into kind of like the walkthrough, I think, part.
Yeah, we can do that in a second. I just want to shout out something while we wait here. So I started a community thing with the OnChain Revolution. So 25 members in here. If you guys, so what I'm going to do is all week, I'm going to do a wheel. I'm going to put everyone's name on the wheel. I'm going to give away one fluid pass every day. So if you guys are in here, hop over to the X account, the OnChain at OnChain Rev, and just join a community. So I'm going to be taking all the names tomorrow, right before the show, because you have to be before the show, and I'll put them on the wheel, and I'll do it all week. So I'll give away 5 fluid passes. They'll be the bronze ones. I'll give away 5 fluid passes to the winner. So if you're on here, I'm going to add you to the wheel, and then if you win, I will message you and say, yo, give me your Taproot address, and I will send you a fluid pass. I have a bunch of them, and I kind of want to give them away. So I'll start giving you guys, I'll give away 5 this week. So yeah, or 4 this week, starting tomorrow, and then potentially maybe 5 more next week. So just be in here. That is how you'll qualify. Trying to get more members in here, and feel free to post in here as well. If you have any questions for us, if there's stuff you want to see, it's just something we're trying to do, and another place where we can all kind of talk and chat. So definitely check out OnChain Revolution podcast. It's the pinned message. You can't miss it. View the community, and then you can actually join it. So definitely, and then, like I said, put some comments in there if you guys don't mind. But yeah, check that out. All right. Yes, let's go into the Merlin thing.
Yep. He might be caught up with something right now, but we'll see.
All right, guys. So every Monday we like to jump into a thing we called, we jump into the Merlin chain every Monday. So that is today for another Merlin Monday. So what we'll do is we'll come over here. First thing we'll do is go to merlinchain.io, and you want to connect your wallet. For this one, I'm going to be using my MetaMask. Why can't I use my MetaMask?
Is it on the? Yeah, it's on your browser there. That is weird. I'm not sure why it's not.
Stake, Bitcoin, connect wallet.
There it is. Bottom left.
All right, cool. So what I'll do is I'll connect my MetaMask here. Of course, right? It wants to act up while we're live here. It's fine all the time except when I'm live. So I'm gonna get my MetaMask open.
Yeah. So for the audience listening in, we're attempting to walk you guys through a simple process of what staking is like on Merlin chain here.
And maybe MetaMask isn't working right now. Yeah. So Xverse and stuff does work, but I just don't have any Merlin those wallets. I still can do it though. Just kind of should walk you guys through how to do that. All right. So first we'll do, obviously, you want to connect your wallet. I'll connect my wallet here. So my wallet is connected. I'm going to sign it. Sign again. All right. So what you can do here is you can stake your Bitcoin, or you can stake your Merlin. So guys, remember, there's only 100. You can only put 100 Bitcoin. Once this 100 Bitcoin is out, this thing is closed. So how it works is you will not be able to get your Bitcoin back until 9/30/2025 at 20,000, which is basically October 1st. So, but we're going to be earning 8 to 21% APR on that Bitcoin. So this is like the only place you're going to be able to earn that much yield, guys. This is crazy. So you have another 35 Bitcoin to go, and let's just say you have 0.001, potentially still could lock it in here and earn on it. So it's definitely something that you think about, and if you're interested in doing that, you can do that. Or you can come over here and you go to Merl, and if you have some Merlin, you can get 15% APR. Same thing. You'll just lock in the amount of Merl you have, and you'll think. Remember, this one you can get it out in 7 days. So let's just say you put it in here. 3 weeks later, you need that Merl for whatever reason. You can unstake it. You won't have to wait 7 days after that unstaking period, but you still earn rewards throughout the whole time. And then they have that 40%. I know we talk about a lot, 45% APR on this one. Lock it in for 6 months, set it, forget it, and come back and have 45% more Merl. Or you can take those rewards out daily and sell them or whatever you want. And there is opportunities there as well for you to short Merl on an exchange, but actually come in here and get the yield. So it's like a nice little arbitrage type of opportunity there. But yeah, and that is what I have here.
Yeah. And for the BTC part of staking, it maxes out at 100. So once it reaches that threshold, it'll be closed until they open another season up. And I believe it's locked in there until September of this year. So you're looking at a 3-month period of hitting that range between at the lowest 8%, at the highest 21% APR with that. So exciting stuff with that for sure. I'm always looking for different ways to earn with my Merle or Bitcoin, right? And BTC Fi, I think, is something that a lot of people have overlooked. It was hot last year whenever Babylon kind of kicked that meta off. And then but you have to remember there's the Babylon approach, which they do a lot of stuff on layer 1. Then you have like Solve and these others, like now Merlin's entered the BTC Fi game. I think BTC Fi is going to be big because people are always looking for ways to earn with their Bitcoin. But a couple other things in terms of updates. There's something that's a couple things that's going to be really big, but we'll let Jeff announce that specifically if he jumps on. In terms of the latest version that drops, Merlin was updated to the version 12. So now you're going to be able to build on Merlin chain, even with like a heavy load forecast, meaning that, like, let's say you have an application that there's a ton of users that are constantly trying to do transactions. They have built this upgrade, basically allows for heavy volume trading and transactions and stuff like that. But just I would say make sure you're following them in like their socials, their X more specifically, because they're going to be dropping a lot of updates, I would say, here in the next 2 weeks. And it's all about controlling what you can control, and that's what their team has done. The market's not always the best, but they're continually partnering with new and strong projects, existing projects as well, like with the Wrap Bitcoin DAO and stuff like that as well. So just make sure you're staying up to date, because there's going to be some big stuff coming out here in the next 2 to 4 weeks with them.
Yep. All right. I got some more news here. We'll jump into that until he pops on. So Supreme Court rejects Coinbase's request to block IRS from accessing user data. So they were trying to get Supreme Court to say, yo, you can't, we're not forced to just hand over data. But the Supreme Court's like, no, you guys are going to listen to the government here. I don't know why Coinbase was thinking this was even possible.
Yeah, I think they try to give it their best shot, right? If government's involved, then they're always going to want to be able to peek inside if they have the ability to do so. Obviously, whenever you use a more decentralized approach, that makes it a little bit harder for them to track and all that stuff. But if it's something that is easy for them to peek in, I think they're going to always try to do so. But I guess you got to respect that Coinbase is trying here.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm glad they did try. So we'll move along here. So BNB chain Maxwell Mainnet Hardfork goes live today, June 30th, slashing block times from 1.5 seconds to 0.75 seconds. So this is something me and you talk about a lot. It's like, does it matter? Well, once you get this fast to where you're 1 second, does it matter if you're 1.5 or 0.75? Like, does it? Like, I don't know.
Block times, I'm not sure, but like the TPS, like I think it does, because there's a reason why Visa and MasterCard have such fast TPS, is because they support just so many users, right? And if crypto and blockchain is going in the direction with mass adoption, then they need to be able to do that as well. So I think it does matter, but like maybe not for us on a day-to-day yet. You know what I mean? But it's always good, I think, if you're constantly updating your capabilities, right? For your chain or whatever your service is, right? And so that's why, like, Merlin just upgraded to version 12. BNB just had the mainnet hard fork. You got to keep doing these things, because when you stay stagnant and complacent, that's when things don't go too well, So
yep. I think it was Nick Saban who used to always say, like, complacency is the enemy of success. So that's something, 100% right there. But to your point about the TPS, though, going from 1.5 to 0.75 now doubles the TPS, doesn't it? Because now you're 0.75, so you're able to do basically double the TPS.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you're being able to just process a lot more volume too.
Yeah.
In a shorter time period.
100%. All right, $300 billion investment advisor Rick Edelman recommends 40% crypto allocation for aggressive investors. Says not owning crypto is the real speculation. So this is one of the bigger firms now. This guy. He built his firm in 1987, and I was reading about him this morning. He's like equivalent to Larry Fink. His client base is big money, is real money, and he says recommends 40% allocation. Larry Fink recommends 2% allocation. Like, this guy's going all in right now. It seems like his bags are packed, and he's kind of pushing it on other people, which I'm down for. 100% down for. But I was watching. I forget. I think Investing Bros. They put out a tweet, and they said this is the biggest thing to happen to crypto since Larry Fink.
Yeah, I mean, I love how he worded it at the end too, saying not owning crypto is the real speculation. So it's like the tables have turned, right? And you're like you're not very smart if you have no exposure to crypto, and that's a big deal for people like this because they're used to, staying safe and being more in the traditional markets.
They still are. I mean, Bitcoin is the safest asset, in our opinion. Right now, other people are starting to see that. But real quick, though, too, he didn't say Bitcoin. He said crypto.
He did say crypto.
Like, that's one big thing that I've got out of this, right? He said potentially he's talking about Ethereum, Solana, XRP, ADA, and then push it all the way down the meme coins, right? He said crypto, right? Cryptography coins, right? So I don't know. I'm definitely bullish on the fact that he said crypto over the word Bitcoin. So. JPMorgan initiates coverage on Circle. So they initiate coverage. This is how they manipulate the markets, though, right? They come out and they say they tell the market they're bullish and bearish, and the market just follows, right? The market just follows the leader, and they just do. If they come out and say, hey, we're overweight this stock, we're underweight this stock, it's just them pushing it in the direction they want. But anyway, so they initiate coverage of Circle for the first time. They said CRCL is underweight rating. With the underweight rating at $80 target. I mean, you got to remember, it's $230 this morning. By December of 2026, warns of competition, CBDCs, and could weigh on growth. So I think this is total bullshit. This is JPMorgan basically coming out and saying that, like, with the Stablecoin Act, we're going to see millions and millions of stablecoins, but USDC is the most trusted, right? By far. And I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, it's annoying that he even brought up the CBDC thing, but I'm sure if he could have chosen how things played out, that the US would have adopted CBDC. But with that being said, it's pretty crazy the dump that happened with Circle, though. It's pretty significant. I think it got to 400 at one point, right? Circle? It was up there, yeah. The stock,
I think 280 was the high.
Was it?
I mean, I could be wrong. I could check it out,
but anyways, but giving it a $80 target is probably more fair. There was a lot of hype with it. You have to think about like the fact that this is an emerging market. Stable coins are like under the thing. What was the highest it got to?
It's looking like it was 299, so 300.
Okay, yeah, 300. Okay, yeah, and so, but because of that, because it's an emerging market and stable coins are like in the spotlight, I think that hype really brought it to that price. So bringing it back down to 80 is probably more on the fairer side of things, right? Don't you think? Maybe a little bit higher.
I don't know, man.
Hard to tell because this is new. This is new ground.
I see this thing going up, man. I see this thing 340. I mean, if Bitcoin and crypto goes up, this has to go up, right? Like we can't.
I would think so, especially if it's. Yeah.
Go ahead. What you say? Sorry.
I was going to say, especially if the stablecoin market is going to be creating all these new products, and if Circle gets involved themselves, I would imagine it would, because once they're going to find more and more ways to bring revenue in, right? And so, with that being said, let's say like 5 years down the line, I think their revenue books could look really crazy, but also it could not, depending on how the stablecoin market reacts. I mean, if it is as bullish as everybody says, and there's good reason to feel that way in terms of stablecoin markets, then Circle and USDC's top, right? So.
Yeah, 100%. Like, but this is the biggest thing, right? Let's go to volume. right? They did 18. Okay, so USDC did 8 billion, which is pretty low in volume, honestly. If Tether's
Compared to
doing
USDT, though, yeah.
yeah, DAI's doing 18. So
What?
even DAI. You gotta remember, DAI is a decentralized token, right? It's backed by USDC and USDT, but it's decentralized. They said it's
Using DAI, though?
Criminals, I guess. I don't know. But you can freeze Tether, you can freeze USDC, you can't freeze DAI. Right? It's as there's no central party or anything. So I don't know. I don't know who's using DAI right now. But USDC only 8 billion. But I mean the drop off is huge, right? You have First Digital, which is a stable coin that is very sought after in Hong Kong and stuff like that from the First Digital. It's an stable coin. World Liberty Fi right there at 1.5, and this is 8. So it's showing that World Liberty Fi, they came online. They're a stable coin. They're taking market share right away. They're backed by Donald Trump's name, right? So, but still, it's still only 1 billion, right? And I mean, 1.5 billion in value, right? But it's crazy though. There's only 2 billion in circulation, which is pretty crazy. And that 1.5 of that is actually being traded on a daily basis. While they're in Circle, there's 61 billion and only 8 is being traded there. So pretty nuts. I wonder if this is being wash traded.
Which one?
World Liberty, because 1.5 and then there's only 2.2 billion, but 1.5 is being traded on a 24-hour volume. That's nuts.
Yeah,
that's not possible.
Well, USD1 is on Binance and Tron, right?
Yeah.
So if it's on Tron, there's a high probability that something like that is happening, because I feel like I don't know. I'm not a on-chain sleuth or anything, but at the end of the day, like, people look at these numbers and they're impressed by volume and stuff. So it's kind of like the social media like followings, right? It's like, how many of those people that have huge followings are legitimate? How many of them are botted? There's probably a good amount that are. So wash trading is probably just a part of the marketing game.
It's just crazy though. I think World Liberty is about to print a whole bunch of more tokens here, because like that's a lot. I mean, 1.5 billion. That gotta be wash trading. All right, moving along here. Over 381 million worth of tokens will be unlocked this week. The largest will be 159 million unlocked on Sui Foundation. So I do have a chart here that kind of breaks that down of like what's actually being unlocked. That's one thing we don't have to worry about in the Bitcoin ecosystem. A lot of the tokens are already like they're fully out, right? So this is it right here. So on Sunday the 29th, we saw a huge unlocking yesterday. $19 million in Optimism, 1.4 million in Celestia, and a little bit from each of these, Liquidity, Radiant, stuff like that. So today, we're seeing 14 million from Across. I've never heard of them. Starknet, 4 million. Celestia, 1.4. Celestia is unlocking 1.4 every day. That's pretty crazy. So this is it. So tomorrow, we might see a giant drop in Sui, because 159 in one day. $159 million worth of Sui tokens will go to the foundation.
Wow. That's a lot, dude. I mean, it's a lot, but like, I wonder what they're gonna do with those funds.
They could, a lot of it could be grants, right? I mean, you could give away grants and giving away, but still that's sell pressure on Sui right now. And if we go over to Sui is getting ripped right now, down 3%, and I think this is because people are looking,
anticipating,
forward looking, 100%, and they're kind of seeing that, and that's why we're down from that $3 mark that we were just at a few days ago, but down on the 280. But it's pretty nuts about the unlockings. Celestia is like every day there's a Celestia unlock, a huge unlock from Sonic, 31 million on Saturday. And I never heard of some of these, but it's unlocking. It's part of the game, I guess.
Yeah, it is, because investors and all those things, and you have foundations and all that stuff. But it's good to probably bookmark this, link or have this. There has to be a live link for this.
This is the real site. I don't know the link. I got this from Cointelegraph.
Yeah, gotcha.
Screenshot from them. But
for sure.
All right. XRPL EVM sidechain launches on Mainnet, adding Ethereum capabilities, smart contracts, and faster, cheap transactions to the XRP ledger ecosystem. So I think they should have did this right away. They should have went EVM to begin with, right? And then just pulled a lot of the XRP over there. But you're going to see a huge, they're saying huge bridges open up from XRPL to this new EVM sidechain. They are saying that potentially this could be a L2, and they kind of roll up these transactions and put them on the XRPL itself. So this is just the first variation of that. But I'm actually getting kind of bullish on XRP right now. Like, very least, you're going to be able to use it for gas here.
Yeah, you just made all the XRP army super happy. No, but like the first thing that comes to my mind when I read something like this is that this is another example that a lot of these chains are they see the future as an interoperable future, right? Like interoperability, you got to focus on the fact that you can't just stay in your tribal like chain, and because then you're limiting liquidity, number one, you're limiting like branding growth as well. So this is not too shocking. I wish they would have branded it better than XRPL EVM. You know, like they could have gave it a better name, but nevertheless, I think it's a smart move by them to have this option.
Ripple VM would have been pretty cool. Name
something
Ripple VM or something like that. But they want us. It's weird. Ripple, the company, wants to stay away from crypto so bad. They won't name anything Ripple. It's always XRP, which RPL stands for Ripple, right? So I don't know there. But shout out to XRP, man. Actually becoming in the blockchain game, because for a while you were just trading XRP. That was it in their environment over there. So originally they were UTXO, and then they went XRPL, which is like a hybrid of a whole bunch of different things I was looking at this morning. And now you're actually going into the EVM aspect of it, where you're actually seeing a lot of companies. And there's rumor has it that Robinhood could be one of those companies coming into the EVM game. And it's making me think right now, Ethereum could be one of the biggest assets in the world one day, competing with gold and Bitcoin. For the sense of, people don't understand right now, these big guys, they can control Ethereum. They will never be able to control Bitcoin, because you have to go out and buy miners, and there's already insane competition. It's very expensive. Both Ethereum, they just got to buy 51% of it and stake it. So they can actually own Ethereum L1 and all these other EVMs. They're all kind of rolling up and finishing on, maybe not XRPL itself, but you're having all these like base chain, and now you have Ink, and all these L2s are going to be finalizing on Ethereum itself. Why wouldn't you want to own that and actually give say in what that chain does? I think we're going to see Ethereum pop this cycle to $20,000.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of vested interest in entities that do have that exposure and stuff, but how much influence can they have though if they own that much? I mean, they can't go in there.
They can control everything. They can change anything. You have complete. Imagine owning 51% of the miners. Anything you do passes.
Yeah. So, you're saying basically through their vote of governance?
Yeah, their governance vote. They can come in and they can put a thing up there and vote yes to it, and that those changes happen. The foundation will be forced to add those changes.
I would think there should be like some sort of like,
you could fork it,
like a doomsday thing, to where in case that happens,
then it won't be decentralized.
Yeah.
So you're always fighting against that line, right? But you could
if they have that much governance power, then it won't be decentralized anyways. They're going to be making all the decisions.
It won't be 100%. But it's funny that they haven't seen that yet. Like, that's such a clear path to owning the biggest financial, but they might be doing it in silence, right? Having a bunch of different places own that Ethereum, right? Very slowly buying to the point where they can get a cheap one, and then two, they can potentially own it. Basically what they do with the boards, right? They'll own 11% of the company, but then they'll get a board seat, and they can kind of force the other people on that board to kind of do what they say, because money talks, right? So they might be trying to buy like 11% of BlackRock, and let's just say their good buddies over at Vanguard owns the other 11%. Hey, we're going to do this way. And so it's decentralized, but it's owned by the big boys. So, but that, so the last thing here is FluidTokens on Bitcoin. We've successfully integrated Oil Wallet to FluidTokens. So now if you got a FluidToken, you can actually use the Oil Wallet. And that makes me ask the question, why? Why do they put Oil Wallet in there? I think there's a lot of different answers you could give to that question.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're building with Alkanes, right? They're building without, and oil is the most compatible wallet for Alkanes. So that's why, you know, they added it, I think, first, but I think they'll end up supporting other wallets as well with Alkanes, as they're a team that likes to break things and fix them, right? Like find solutions to new innovative products and stuff like that. And so that's what I expect. So I would say another project to make sure you're following on X, because they're going to have some big updates coming in the near future as well. Exciting ones.
Yeah,
And it has to do with Alkanes.
100%. There's gonna be opportunities for you guys to actually make some money by not really doing much. So definitely check that out again over there. And remember what I said. If you go over to the OnChain Revolution, you get into that community. There's a really good chance that you could win a fluid pass. So look out for that. I'm giving away 4 fluid passes this week. Every single day, I add your name to the wheel. I'll have that wheel up. It'll be easy because I can just use the same wheel from every single day and just add a few names every day. And I'm obviously going to take out my name. I'll take out OnChain Revolution. I'll take out you. So for you guys to have a really good opportunity of winning that. Only 25 people in there as we speak, but appreciate you guys. We have 249 people here on this Monday. Appreciate every single one of you guys, not to mention everyone on Twitch, X, Rumble, Abstract, Kick, and Spotify later. Appreciate every single one of you guys.
Yes, sir. We are very appreciative of you guys. I'm going to say it. I say it every day. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, and we're very thankful for that. But also without our partners, we couldn't do this as well. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for runes natively on L1, you got to do it at Sats Terminal. Reason why is you earn Amber points. What are Amber points? They are going towards a tally of earned points that are going to be relating to some sort of give back to early adopters of Sats Terminal, right? The CEO Stan said it himself. So once you connect your wallet for the first time to Sats Terminal, you earn 1,000 Amber points, and that will be actually shrinking to 100 in the future. But right now that exists to get that 1,000 points. And if you're looking to swap for Doggo to the Moon, you can do directly there from a decentralized way. Other popular runes as well, $1 Billion Cat, Magic Internet Money, Gizmo, etc., etc. But if you're in the Alkanes, they also support Alkanes. So make sure you're heading over there, swapping for some of these tokens that you really like. And they have some really good features that are going to be coming in the near future as well. You can see the tab up there on their menu. They got Bridge and Stake there. But once that comes along, we will allow them to kind of talk about that on that weekly segment we have with them. So visit satsterminal.com today. And then BetBTC is your predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be utilizing your Bitcoin wallet. You got to have some Bitcoin in there, and it takes 6 Bitcoin blocks for you guys to start placing bets in their blitz markets. Their blitz markets are a 10-minute countdown. The timer is constantly running. So you get 10 minutes to really, dive into either Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana to lock in a price point to where you think it's going to go up or down. And then you get an additional 10 minutes to see if you were right or wrong with that bet. You're going to also be able to create your own custom market. So if you have really good social following, you have a strong following, you can utilize your custom markets to introduce to your following there, and you get to earn 1.5% of the total volume from that. Also, other referral features are going to be 1% of the total volume transacted with your referrals as well. So head over to betbtc.win, learn how to use the system, because they're going to have some big major upgrades to their platform in the near future, but get comfortable with it now. Head over to btc.win to learn more. BetBTC.win, I should say. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem, more specifically focusing on ordinals. You can actually jump your Taproot wizards right now from Bitcoin to Ethereum, and you can take a loan out against your wizards using Gandhi right now on Ethereum. But you can also do other NFT collections like Counterparty stuff or Pepe's, and then of course the other ordinal collections, frogs, node monks, pups, stuff like that. And you're going to be able to do it in other chains besides Ethereum as well, like Base, Abstract, Merlin, and eventually they're going to work their way to Solana, right? And if you do use Solana, you can actually use their other product, which is an AI agent product called AI Agent Hustle. Hustle is going to allow you to do the bridging as well, or jumping your ordinals and stuff, but that's once they add the Bitcoin tech stack, which should be here in the next couple of months. But Hustle can actually help you right now trade in the jungles of Solana. So, you need that trench warrior next to you. Hustle is the guy. If you're going to ask him, hey, you know, how can I give me a couple 2x opportunities in Solana? He's going to give you a couple options, break down why he thinks these will be successful tokens, and maybe some red flags to watch out for as well. But in the near future, you're going to be able to use him to trade conditionally. You're going to be able to ask Hustle, hey, buy $500 worth of Solana once there's a 20% pullback, and then exit once I hit 50% of the profit from my entry there. So it's going to be really exciting. You can utilize Hustle right now for free, but in the near future, there is going to be a business model that's going to be associated with their Hustle token. And by the way, if you hold Tensor token right now, make sure you're following them on their X and go follow the instructions on how to do the migration from the Tensor token to the Hustle token, which starts tomorrow. So you have a day to learn, and then you can start that migration process there. And don't forget, they do have a TGE rune, Bitcoin rune, that's going to be coming out in September/October. It's going to be the main token for their entire brand. It's called Emblem Founder Vaults. You can actually buy a pre-sale version NFT right now on OpenSea if you search Emblem Founder Vaults, and then you can go over to their X, and once it gets to TGE time, they will give you guys instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Head over to emblem.vision and dive in today. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching very soon on Botonics, which is the spider chain, a Bitcoin layer 2. And shortly after that, they're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin layer 2. But you want to use Artura because you're going to be able to gain points, sort of like the early adopter give back that I was talking about earlier about SAS Terminal. They're doing something similar here, but you're going to be able to kind of double dip with these chains because they want to do early adopter gives backs as well. I know Botonics is doing a co-promotion with Artura, and Hemi will be doing something as well. But you're going to be able to trade for synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens, Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, Ordi, Sats down the road, as well as the popular tokens outside of the ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum. And if you're not a trader, you can participate in adding liquidity to their vaults and earning passively that way. You get points for all interaction transactions on their platform. Head over to Artura.finance and dive in today. And then FluidTokens is the UTXO wizard devs. They started building on Cardano, and they're still building there. If you are a Cardano user, you can participate in their Aquarium platform and earn Babel fees by providing liquidity that way. And if you are on the Bitcoin side, you can actually start to stake. You know, they've had staking vaults for a long time. They were the first to introduce retail staking vaults to the public. They had a Doggo to the Moon Season 1 and Season 2. If you participate in Season 2, you can still claim your tokens if you haven't claimed them yet. Make sure you do that. You're going to get your original stake tokens plus the reward in one transaction. But they will have a Dog Season 3 towards the end of July, early August. So make sure that you're following them to know once that goes live. That's going to be exciting. And then if you are a founder of a project and you need to airdrop some runes, you can go to their airdrop tool. It's in their menu. You click on the airdrop tab, and you can actually upload a CSV file, which is a Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel file that has all the addresses you need to airdrop directly already on there, or you can do it manually one by one like Shizzy's doing right there. So it depends on how you want to interact with it, but it is really cost effective and it's efficient in terms of speed. I tested this out. Shizzy and I both did. So really, really useful. And if you need to get a staking vault started, you have an established community, head over to their Discord and ask their team how to get started. They'll help you guys out. Head over to fluidtokens.com to learn more. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet. They are building for the best UI and UX for all users. They support Cardano and Bitcoin right now. If you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store, download it there. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play and you can download it there. But they are building for the best UX, guys. They're going to be adding more ecosystems in the near future as well. If you are looking to swap for runes, you can do directly in their app as they partner with SAS Terminal to help help with that process, as well as the top aggregator on Cardano if you need to swap for Cardano tokens. They have an alpha section on their app where you can find us as well as other YouTubers like Cryptos R Us and other popular alpha YouTubers. But head over to Tokyo.io to really dive into what they have brought to the UI and UX for users, and let us know what you think. If there's any feedback you'd like to give to us to pass to the team, we'll definitely do that. All right. And then Merlin chain, uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. The AI 0.3 version of their wizard is available to use. You can actually use the wizard to do DeFi actions for you, swapping, staking, but there's going to be a lot more coming. We had a meeting with Jeff and his team yesterday. And so it's exciting stuff that's going to be coming with the wizard. It's not going to just be limited to a Merlin chain. You're going to be able to get information cross chain as well. Like what's the hottest tokens? What's the biggest holders? What are they doing? Those kind of questions. So excited for that. And then also we went over the staking tutorial today. So make sure you guys check that out. You can stake for to help secure the chain with Bitcoin. There is a 3-month lockup period for that, but you earn 8 to 21% to stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. So that is one of the options there. And then also for the Merlin token, you can do a flexible, which is a day-to-day. It does take 7 days if you withdraw it. There's a 7-day period for that. But you earn 15% APR, and you can withdraw your rewards every day. Same thing with the bonded. The bonded, the difference is it's 6-month lockup period, but you can withdraw your rewards on the day-to-day, and you earn 45% APR there. So pretty good opportunities there in my opinion, but you're also helping secure the chain there. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more about their staking and what the ecosystem has to offer. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, which is building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. They have onboarded Bitcoin Derby as well, and they're developing a gaming launchpad for game developers to be able to use their templates, customize games, and you can launch it directly there. And Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace. Its cheapest Ordinals around will be at Ordinal Hive, and they have some really cool trading tools as well, like live mempool insights. And thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, there's a few comments here. I'll just read out the comments real quickly. So Stan says, will PancakeSwap benefit from Binance upgrade? Thanks. So it's not an upgrade. It's the new strategy they're going where they'll buy you certain tokens and they use the exchange on the back end. So yeah, PancakeSwap is #1 in volume because of that. Anthony Paulino says, bros, what is up with Fart House? I recommend 4,000% allocation in the Fart House. All right, buddy. We'll give you the shill because we like you. Mr. Unfiltered says, just check .swap. Cat 20 is not trading at all. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It's been a long time since I even looked at Fractal. Cash Cat said, I would buy $80 Circle stock. Yeah, 100%, man. And then Ricky Ricardo, hey, Lucy, says, you got to have a little Bitcoin and a lot of XRP. I mean, you're up a lot from the bear market. You're one of the few coins that are up from the bear market. So if you got in stuff like Polkadot and Cosmos, you're down against the bull market. But if you're an XRP and Cardano, you're up about 3-4x, depending on when you get in. But shout out to you, my friend. And if you guys have a few minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. New article right here, introducing Dog, the free and fair Bitcoin meme token. Definitely check out this article, guys. Get caught up before you guys miss out and don't understand Dog. Understand it. And if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. I use it every single day. It is the #1 VPN in my opinion. And you guys can get it for 70% off. It's $3 a month if you go through our link here. That'll take you to the NordVPN. If you go to NordVPN, they're going to charge you $10 a month. Don't do that. Use our link here. It's $3.30, I think, for a month. Lock it in for 2 years. It's the best thing you do because you only get one shot at that 70% off coupon. So I lock it in for 2 years, set it, forget it. I paid it $66, but I have a VPN now forever. If you go to a site that doesn't allow you to use that site, if you have your VPN on and put it to Italy or Spain or El Salvador, it doesn't matter where you put it, as long as it's not in the US, you are able to use that site. It is not your country that is stopping you from those sites. It is those sites that are stopping you because they don't want to get in any trouble, which at the end of the day, on the internet really is no more borders, right? The borders are kind of gone on the internet. There's no point in following those rules. Get a VPN, go around it. It is legal, it's safe, it's privacy. Get a VPN. If you guys need merch for events, I highly recommend checking out our Shopify third party. We add the logos and we're going to be adding stuff. I know I keep saying I'm going to add stuff. I'm definitely going to do it this week. But check this out. We got shirts, hats, school bags, and so much more. You can check everything out here at OnChain Revolution. chain.io. We appreciate you guys. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain Revolution roll call, market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.